What's going on, everybody? It's Broadway Joel, the voice of Dominican boxing. And today we got a loaded show. It's been a minute since I've been really excited for a show like this, where it's just me talking, it's just me talking to a camera. It's been a while since I've been this excited. There is a lot of boxing news to talk about. A lot of Dominican boxing news, not just, Tank and Rolly, Tank and Ryan possibly falling apart. There's a lot of news that has to do with a lot of Dominicans, uh, and we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it today, and we'll also talk about not just the Dominicans. We'll talk a little bit about everything. But I'll wait until a couple people hop on before I start cooking. But before that, you know what? Let me do this because a lot of people say they want to support. And the way you show your support is with your money. If you don't want a super chat, go buy a shirt, man. I pinned the link to I'm gonna pin the link to the top of the chat, and that'll take you to the link to my website where you can go buy a shirt, man. I need the support. I need all the support I can, and I appreciate that, man. If you already bought a shirt or going to buy a shirt, please do. Hold on. Damn. The website, I can't do it. All right, never mind. But either way, BroadwayJoel.com. If you guys want to support me, man, or if you guys want to send a super chat, definitely do that. Definitely do that. So since I can't do that, I'll pin the link to the top of the chat. And all right, damn, a lot of people hopping on quick. All right, I'll get to cooking. Hold on, let me pin this to the top of the chat, and then I'll get to cooking as far as what the show is about, and what we talking about. So today we'll talk about Rolly getting dropped. I don't know if y'all seen some footage has leaked out of Rolly in sparring getting fucking dropped with a nasty left hook. It looks like he's susceptible to left hands because that's what Tank knocked him out with. And then people are, oh, he just got dropped. Yo, he got, not only did he get dropped, he was hurt. He was hurt. If you guys have not seen the footage of Romero getting dropped, I'm gonna put it up right here so you guys can see it. It was a nasty left hook. It was a guy named John Ingram, and John Ingram is only 3-0, so it's not like this is a set. Boom! It's just a left hook and then boom. Look, right? So he's down, but look, he can't get up. He can't look. He's trying to get up. He can't get up. See, now his trainer jumping in the ring, screaming and doing all that shit. I ain't like his trainer jumping in the ring, screaming and all that. I mean, to be fair, I don't know the context as to what happened before that. Rolly they may have been a bet. Rolly may have been talking major shit. I don't know. As far as people being mad that the footage got leaked, listen, I'll be honest with you, and I'm gonna keep it 1,000. Y'all know me, I never lie. I'm not the type to bullshit with y'all. Yo, if I'm John Ingram, I'm 3-0. That shit is on footage with me dropping him. I'm dropping the tape. Why? Because now my buzz is up. I'm talking about John Ingram today on my show. I've never heard of him. I was gonna say I never seen him, but that's not true. I actually saw he scored a really nice counter right hand knockout in one of his fights, and I had seen it like on YouTube, on not on YouTube, on Instagram or something like that. So I have seen him fight before, but a small clip. So hey, allegedly he signed to Mayweather Promotions. He's a big puncher, and dropping Rolly like that guy who has fought at world level. You know what I'm saying, against Tank, and he looked okay. I don't want to say he was knocking out, he was beating the shit out of Tank, but he definitely was giving Tank a run for his money until he got clipped. So if you dropping him also with one shot, that's impressive. That's impressive. And ironically, right? So ironically, right after that, Rolly versus Alberto Puello, our Dominican brother, gets announced. Uh, So this is like something like well, I'm like, whoa, that's interesting. What interesting timing as to why it's released. And the reason, one of the reasons why it's annoying to me that this got leaked and now Puello is gonna fight him because now when Poyo cooks Rolly, because that's what's gonna happen. He's gonna box his ears off, catch him with a bunch of left uppercuts and go to the body and doing a bunch of things. He's really gonna beat up Rolly. Now he's not gonna get credit. Yeah, he's coming off a knockout loss. It's his first fight at 140. There's footage of him getting knocked out in sparring. And I'm like, oh my God. And this is everybody who was telling me how Puello was you know, people. I be talking to people on Twitter. People be telling me how Puello's trash, how he's not going to win his first defense. And it's like, oh no, well now since it's Rolly, of course he'll win his first defense. There's a lot of bullshit going on. Y'all know how it is. Like, an example of the bullshit that the Dominicans have to go through is right. Elvis takes a loss, doesn't get dropped, doesn't get knocked out, can't live it down. People keep bringing it up. People keep he got not he lost to Kenneth Sims. He lost to Kenneth Sims. De Los Santos fucking destroys Rayo, destroys him. Yo, he just got caught with a bad shot. It wasn't that serious. He couldn't recover, but he'll be back. And it's like, yo, how is one guy losing a majority decision and not didn't get dropped compared to a motherfucking getting dropped what twice, three times? And then knocked out in 3 rounds. How is he not getting less criticism than Elvis? But that's some of the bullshit that be going on with the Dominicans. But yo, I'm excited. Rolly versus Puello. That's a that's a fight that I think definitely will raise Puello's how do I say stock. Like it'll get him a lot more popular because Rolly, although he's not the most talented, he definitely is a salesman. He knows how to talk trash. He's a very good talker, and people are familiar with him. Even the casuals. Why? Why the casuals familiar with him? Because hey, the he fought Tank, and people remember. Oh, that's the guy that was trolling Tank. That's the guy who came into the press conference with a suit. Well, I'm not with a suit, with a mink coat in fucking Los Angeles with glasses. He was looking crazy. But anyways, um, yeah, this that's like that's what's going on. So I think that's a good fight for him marketability wise. And somebody I see somebody people talking in the chat, and I think they're setting it up where if Tank possibly moves up to 140, he'll have a common opponent with Poyo. People will be somewhat familiar with him, and that'll be Poyo's opportunity to fight Tank not as a nobody, because as of right now, nobody really knows him. He's not that popular. You know what I'm saying? Like us Dominicans, and most of my subscribers, not all, are Dominican, and definitely, I want to say all of my subscribers are fucking hardcore fans, so we know him. But to the mass public, like Poyo's not really a recognizable name. Beating a guy like Rolly will elevate his status in the sport, where he's recognizable. Where when Tank is fighting him, it's not like who this guy, who's that? Why? It's like nah. That's who's fighting. He's fighting the guy that beat the same guy that Tank fought. So that fight's important. Um, there has been heavy rumors that the Isaac Pitbull Cruz fight with oh hold on. Shout out to my man Kareem. Salute my brother with the $2 super chat, man. I don't get many of these. So anytime I get, I don't care if it's $1, $2, five, or 100. Anytime I get a super chat, I have to do a big pause and shout out to my man Kareem supporting the channel, helping me grow my channel. The more super chats, the more people buy my shirts, the faster my channel is gonna grow. So Kareem, I really, truly appreciate the $2, man. That's like a big deal for me because that lets me know you support my channel and you invested in me. This sending me $2, that's you investing in me. So Kareem, I thank you so much. That's very nice. Vivi, what's going on, my brother?
Good evening. Good evening. I'm glad to be back.
Hold
I
on one
heard you.
second. Hold on one second. No, all right. Yeah, I had the Roly thing playing in the background. What's going on, my brother?
Good evening. I saw your notification. I had to make sure to pop in. I saw you talking about Alberto Puello's fight finally got announced. I'm glad. I'm very happy for him. Rolly's a great opponent for him for to build his profile. But that fight's not gonna be competitive. Puello's gonna put on a great performance, put on a show. I think.
Yeah, I think people sleeping on Poyo. People were like, people like, and it's funny. People own most of the people who criticize Poyo only seen him fight once, and they seen him fight Akhmadov in a really tough fight that could have gone either way, and think he's automatically a bum. It's like, okay, they like, if that's what you want have in your fucking head, then stay with that. But this is a very experienced amateur, somebody who trains with Bob Santos, one of the best trainers uh uh in boxing. Like I like him. I think he's a good fighter, and I think people sleeping on him. What's your opinion on Alberto Puello, and what's your opinion on this fight?
I agree with you. I think a lot of people, especially with Puello, I saw it like he fought a guy that's proven to be at that level as well. So I mean, you're going to have tough fights, but you can't really judge a fighter off one performance. I think fighter stock can decrease or increase based on one performance, but like a lot of people are making that to be a like
And one
Puello's this, that, and the
performance
third.
and one performance where he won. It's not like he fucking lost. Like, yo, he won. It was a 50-50 fight. Even if you thought he lost, which I think it's fair. I think it was a close fight. You don't think he lost 10-2. You thought he lost 7-5 or something like that. It was a close fight. The judges went his way. And people want to be overly critical, but last I checked, before that fight, he was an underdog in that fight. So Akhmadov was the favorite, and both were ranked in the top 10 in the Ring magazine. I just think people not paying close enough attention to boxing, man. I really don't.
I agree with you. I mean, I think you're right on Puello being an underdog. I thought Puello lost that fight personally, but I mean, it's one of those things where like my stock in both fighters went up because I thought they both did great. They stuck to their game plan well. I thought Akhmadov barely edged it out. But again, like one performance, it doesn't make or break a fighter. You have to like with Josh Taylor's performance against Catterwell, you have to like look at like this happened, this happened, this happened. Well, Puello was like he was a great fighter, close fight. And that was a huge step up. I think before that, he fought like 8 months earlier against like Vashon Owens.
Yeah.
So when you're taking that huge step up in class, like it's gonna be a little rough.
Yeah, exactly. Hold on. I just want to give a huge shout out to my man Danny Ramos. Shout out to you for the $5 super chat. Truly appreciate that, man. And man, you guys are showing me some love today. And I definitely don't want to shortchange y'all on the love I could give y'all back, man. Thank you so much, Danny Ramos. So De Los Santos versus Pitbull Cruz has a lot of heavy rumors. Jake Donovan spoke about it on the Jake and Lefty show, how he hears that's a fight that they're looking to make. From what I'm hearing is that's a fight they're trying to make as its own main event. There was rumors that it was going to be on the Plant Benavidez card, but apparently the negotiations have stalled enough where it can't be no longer on that. And it's a big enough fight where it can handle itself on its own on Showtime. That's a fight that I think is a possible fight of the year candidate. Candidate. I listen. Pitbull is somebody who rushes in, and when you rush in on a puncher, you risk yourself on getting knocked out. And De Los Santos is definitely a puncher, but Cruz is somebody who makes you fight all 3 minutes of every single round. You know what I'm saying? And in the one loss De Los Santos had, he gassed out pretty quick. So it worries me the work rate and the physicality of Pitbull if De Los Santos won't blow his steam and get tired. But also Cruz does rush in and he can get clipped and knocked out early. What's your opinion on that fight?
I mean, as far as how the fight plays out, I still don't know. With Cruz, it's kind of weird because he does, bring that pressure for 3 rounds, but also like, especially someone that hits as hard as De Los Santos can like clip him because a lot of those, like when he's rushing in, it's a lot of like overhand shots, looping shots. It's not very compact. It's really wide and kind of wild with it.
Yeah.
So like against De Los Santos, I'm kind of like, ooh, like especially after what he did to Valenzuela, especially like some of those shots like on the inside stuff. I'm like, ooh, I don't know if he could take those. But I hope the fight happens. I'm not sure if it does though.
Yeah, the only thing that worries me is this is a southpaw orthodox fight, and Cruz rushes in with his head already. So even if he's fighting another orthodox fighter, that there may be cuts, but the fact that these are two offensive fighters, two guys who are coming to bang, I can see a head clash happening. So that's one thing that worries me. But it's a fight that honestly, I don't know who wins. I want to sit here and say De Los Santos win because that's who I want to win, and I know he has the power to put him out. But does he land a shot? What if Cruz went 12 rounds with Tank? What if he has one of those iron chins, and yeah, he gets hurt, maybe he gets dropped, but he just keeps going and going and going, and De Los Santos gets tired, like we've seen him do in that William Foster III fight. Who right as of right now, and I'm not going to hold you to your pick. Who would you favor in that fight?
Gun to my head, I'd probably pick Cruz. I mean, with these kind of fights, it always does worry me as well. Like with two guys that are so offensive minded that one of them might be a little bit more hesitant. So like taking that into account, and Edwin's gas tank versus Isak, who can go 12 rounds nonstop. I kind of have to favor Cruz. I think if it was a shorter fight, I'd probably pick De Los Santos. I don't know. It's a really good fight. It needs to happen. Sean Gibbons needs to stop saying, "Oh well, Edwin De Los Santos beat this prospect who is nobody. So what does he bring to the table? Get that shit out of here."
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I got a video I want to play that Punch Drunk he tweeted at me earlier today, so I hope you don't mind me sharing it on my stream. I'm sure, but this is Sean Gibbons reacting to the question of who what does he think of Pitbull versus De Los Santos. This is Sean Gibbons. Hold on.
Isak, where he hey, one of the fighters in Dominican Republic, one of the fights that I know, De Los Santos, talked about he would like to get a shot at Pitbull Cruz. What do you feel about that match?
You know what? I like De Los Santos, but what has De Los Santos done? He beat one guy that
on the come up.
Yeah, I don't even know what. So Isak, where he's at in the game right now, again, come back in May, whatever it may be, and then look to get a winner of Javante and Ryan. De Los Santos, he's still trying to make his name.
Yeah.
Go do something. Go beat someone. Go be a legit fighter. Go win a title. Do something. Isak will fight anybody. Ain't afraid to fight nobody. But I tell people, boxing is a business also. It's called prize fighting. so there has to be a real reason to make certain fights. And at the moment, I don't say everybody's on the table. Whatever makes the most sense is which way Isak will go.
Right. Hey, one of the fighters in Dominican Republic, one of the fights that I know.
There you go. There's Sean Gibbons. There's Sean Gibbons saying who did De Los Santos beat to deserve a Pitbull Cruz fight? Who the fuck did Eduardo Ramirez beat to deserve a Pitbull Cruz fight? And let's look at it further. Who the fuck Pitbull Cruz beat? You can make an argument that De Los Santos beating Rayo Valenzuela is better than any win on Cruz's resume. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? And you talk about, I only won big fights. I only won big fights. Well, Ryan Garcia made you an offer and you turned it down. Isn't that a big fight? Shakur Stevenson made you an offer. You turned that down. Isn't that a big fight? So what the fuck are you talking about? That shit really pissed me off because he's trying to minimize the accomplishment that fucking De Los Santos did. But why didn't Cruz step in the ring with Rayo? Why wasn't that on the co-main event of that card, not Rayo versus Pitbull Cruz? Oh yeah, because what would have happened. So I think that he's trying to downplay Pitbull. Oh, go accomplish something. Bro, y'all both never been world champion. Never. Your claim to fame is a close loss against Tank Davis. So you can't pump up your fucking chest and think people are going to respect you when you turned down Ryan Garcia and Shakur Stevenson to fight two fucking flyweights, basically, in Gamboa and Ramirez. So that really pissed me off. Sean Gibbons, I need to get him on the show because that was some bullshit he just said. What's your opinion about the video I just played, man?
No, my first reaction was the exact same thing. I'm like listening to the videos like, oh, well, De Los Santos beat nobody. Well, he beat fucking Rayo. Like, who have you beat? You beat Eduardo Ramirez, who lost to Luis Melendez the fight before at 130, and before that he was a featherweight. Yuriorkis Gamboa, who's like 42 years old. I couldn't tell you one notable guy he thought Cruz has beat. So, who has he beat? And then he says, oh, go win a world title. Go beat someone. Go make a name for yourself. Ryan Garcia, Shakur Stevenson, like Michel Rivera. You could have fought any of them. It's always some excuses with Cruz. I don't want to say he's wasting his career waiting for Gervonta Davis, but I gotta believe a fighter when they show me what they're about. And he's shown me time and time again that he does not want the tough fights. He appears to be wanting to cash himself out against Gervonta Davis again, all because of a close loss where Tank broke his hand. So, quack, quack, quack. I'm man.
Yo, listen, this duck only comes out when we talk about people ducking. And you talking and you bringing it up to me and me getting all worked up thinking about the fights he's turning down. I'm like, yo, that's a duck. That's a duck. You ducking. Michel Rivera had been offered to you before the loss to Frank Martin. You duck Ryan Garcia. You duck Shakur Stevenson. And he don't have the fight yet, so I'm not going to say he ducking De Los Santos. But let's say he signs up for a fight and it's somebody we're not interested in. That's another duck. He may be in competition for the biggest duck in boxing. And right now, I'm still holding that title to Jaime Munguia. He still has that title. But he fights somebody else. If he fights, if he doesn't fight Frank Martin or De Los Santos or somebody like that next, I think he may be the biggest duck in boxing. He's getting to that level. What's your opinion on that?
We'll have to see. He's definitely, racking up quite the names of people.
He better not fight Luis Neri in his next fight or some shit like that. I don't want to see that.
Yeah, he turned down Shakur, saying he was going the IBF route. That was October, November. We're in February now. He has not made a fight with Gustavo Lemos, who is the number one in the IBF. And if he tries to say who the fuck has he beat? He beat Lee Selby. He's a top 10 lightweight. So
he's the number one in the IBF.
Well, what happened to go on the IBF route? Because you haven't fucking made the fight with him. You didn't make the fight with Shakur, with Ryan, with Michel Rivera. Like, what are we doing?
No, yeah, 100% right. I'm totally disappointed in him and his manager, promoter, whatever the fuck he is doesn't know what he's talking about. Big fights. So if you want big fights, you would have accepted those fights with Michel and Ryan and Shakur. Those are big fights. Those are recognizable names. So if you're not trying to fight those fights, the second tier is De Los Santos and Frank Martin, and Gustavo Lemos. I'll throw him in. If your next fight is not one of those three, I'm gonna have to give you that award for the biggest duck in boxing. I'm sorry. Yeah. I wanted to talk about my man Michel Rivera, who, man, I love Michel Rivera. If there was anybody, I can not guarantee. Like if God told me, listen, there's one person you can make sure he became world champion. The rest are going to have to earn it on their own merits. But you get to pick one guy who, no matter how good or how bad he is, I'm going to make sure he's world champion. I would say Michel Rivera, man. He is such a hard worker. He is currently now in Massachusetts training with Jermaine Ortiz. There's rumors that he may be using his team now and getting rid of Herman Conceição. What's his name again? The guy who trains Pitbull?
Hernan
Caicedo, excuse me. Yeah. So he's over in Massachusetts currently training with Jermaine Ortiz. I'm not familiar with Jermaine Ortiz's trainer, but I do remember when I interviewed Jermaine, he said that he has a really good strength and conditioning team that helps him make weight, that he hired a dietitian. And from what I've spoken with Jermaine's uncle, it looks like everything they're doing for Jermaine, because Jermaine's a big boy. Everything they're doing for Jermaine, they're going to do for Michel. So he's going to make the weight a little bit more comfortable. What's your opinion on that? of one, Michel leaving what's the name again? I'm sorry.
Hernan Caicedo.
Hernan Caicedo going to train with Jermaine Ortiz's camp. What's your opinion on that?
I mean, after the Frank Martin fight, I thought, it was like one of those things where Michel's going to have to, go get different looks, go with the new trainer to kind of take it to the next level. So I like that he's, looking around. Jermaine Ortiz is a huge 135-pounder. I'm surprised he made the weight against Lomachenko, against Jamel Herring even. So, if they can get Michel down to 135 the way they somehow got Jermaine down there, and Michel is able to get that title shot he wants at 135, then, credit to him. I still don't want to see him do that, but if he thinks he can do it and they can get him down there, then, power to him.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I definitely want to. I'm definitely curious as to if that change in team can help him make the weight. But if you like, Michel looks big, man. Like, let me screen share the picture again. Like, to me, I told him, like, man, I want you to move up. Look at him. Look at his biceps. Like, he's pretty tall. He's a big dude. Like, we were just mentioning how Jermaine Ortiz is a big dude. Like, to me, Michel looks bigger than him there. I think he's a 140-pounder. I don't want to see him at 135. But to be fair, he is out of camp. He did just come back from the Dominican Republic where, he was eating whatever he wanted to. He just got out of training camp. You got to enjoy your food and stuff like that. Although he was training out there. It wasn't like he was just chilling. So if the same strength and conditioning coach and dietitians and nutritionists could help Michel make the weight, I think that's a big help to him, because that's really what I felt was the biggest factor in that Frank Martin fight. Not saying he would have beat Frank Martin, but I'm just saying he was very weight drained. He was very, very weight drained.
Yeah, no, he looked much weaker than we're used to seeing him. So, like, if he moves up, and I think he should move to 140 anyway, because I think him being with PBC, there's much more options there, especially guys who are like the fringe contender level, trying to burst onto the scene. I think he could get quite a few fights there. PBC isn't doesn't have much depth at 135 pounds. He kind of fought Frank Martin already, and Rolly's going up to 140. So there's another guy for him alongside like Lipinets and a plethora of guys at 140 for PBC. So he should just move up anyway for opportunities in a career, because I don't know if he wants a Tank fight specifically, but I mean that's gonna be there. Tank's gonna go up to 140 eventually.
No, I agree. And so is Haney. So is Teal's already up there, and Shakur eventually. I know Shakur just moved up, but eventually he'll be up there. I agree with you. I think he should move up to 140. And just make your bones there. You sign with Al Heyman, man. You eventually will get up on those rankings pretty quickly, as long as you do your job. You got to do your job and just get the rack up those wins, and you definitely will get your info. Like, you'll get your shot. You do your job and keep winning. Al Heyman's gonna put you in position in the ranking, especially that WBA, especially.
Yeah, definitely.
Although the WBA is held by another Dominican, and no, we team Canelo, the weight team Canelo. I no fight Mexican. No, me Broadway Joel Dominican no fight Dominican. No Dominican no fight Dominican. Only unification Dominican fight Dominican. No one belt. No, that's how we do it here. So I would not like to see him fight Puello, but that's out of my hands, obviously.
I hear you. But no, like it's all about him, putting the work in the ring, staying mentally strong, because a loss like that, losing 12-0, in a main event.
I don't think he lost 12-0. I don't think he lost 12-0.
I mean, he lost close enough to that. I might be exaggerating, but it's all about the mental strength. In that interview after the fight, he seemed like already ready to go back in the gym and start working again. So he doesn't seem like one of those guys that's going to take this loss hard and let it define his career. He's going to come back stronger, and it's all about that mental strength and putting the work in the ring. And I think at 140 pounds he could do that.
Yeah, let me tell you about Michel, and this is why I said that if God asked me, like, listen, one guy that you make sure he's going to be world champion and the other ones have to earn it on their merits, like, the reason I want Michel to win, get a title so bad, apart that we have a great relationship, And that dude's such a hard worker, man. Like, he was in Dominican Republic training out there. He heard that because Andy Cruz, the Olympic gold medalist, lives out there. He heard that. Yo, he went out looking for him to train with him. They were working out together. They were Andy was helping him out with some hand-eye coordination exercises, how to punch from different angles and shit like that. And you know, they worked out together. They did not spar, but they did a lot of good workouts. And he says that, you know, like he got some tips from Andy Cruz. So then they went to a different part of the country where, you know, he was like a, you know, resort. Yo, supposedly he was in that gym the whole time, was there. Well, then when they would go to the pool, he was there swimming laps. Like, he's really wants this bad, you know? All right. He allegedly is changing teams. We don't know yet, you know, but he's in Massachusetts training with Jermaine Ortiz. You know, yo, I'm flying to Massachusetts in the middle of February, yo, because I want to train. I want to find a good trainer for me, you know, allegedly. Like, yo, that's so much dedication. He's willing to pay the price to become a world champion. So that's why I'm like, man, if there's anybody who deserves to be a world champion, it's him. So hopefully all this work is not, it pays off for him, man. He's a really dedicated dude, man.
Yeah, I mean, especially, you know, you're in the DR, you know, at a resort, and you're going to the gym. Like, and he seems like a real student of the game. And, you know, he took that loss, and he's like, oh, weight cut issues. Let me go find someone that can help me with that. Let me go find someone that can, you know, take me to the next level and learn from his peers with like Andy Cruz and Jermaine Ortiz, people like that. You know, you can tell like deep, like he really wants it. So, you know, I hope he does. Power to him. You know, he gonna be a world champion eventually. Keep working like this.
Yeah, man. Like I was talking to his father like a week. No, it wasn't like a week. It was like 3 weeks after the fight. He was like, yo, this guy, he went into demon mode. Like, he's really focused on training and trying to get better. So I'm hearing good stuff coming out that camp, and he's definitely not discouraged on that loss. It hurt him. He was depressed for a little bit, but now he's just back on it. Like, all right, the only way is just for me to get better. And I'm glad he's going somewhere else, allegedly. I gotta say allegedly because I haven't gotten confirmation. I'm just going by what I see on the social media. Allegedly going to another camp because now he's like, yo, this wasn't working for me. All right. So then let me find somebody who works for me. Let me find this guy to teach me something that this guy wasn't teaching me. So I'm super excited for him. When he came on my show on Saturday and he told me he's like, he's trying to come back in April or May. I mean, when I spoke to Samson immediately after the fight, he told me he's going to come back in July, but Michel's like, nah, April or May. We'll see what happens, but he really wants to get back in the ring and prove that he's still that dude. You know, he's proved that he's still on that level to fight one of these top guys. So I'm excited for him. I'm excited for him that he still hasn't lost his confidence and is working towards it.
Yeah, I think he should come back sooner than July anyway, especially because, you know, if he is going to split from trainers, it's probably better if he takes a few fights and a few inter fights, you know, tune-ups to get back in the ring, get comfortable, and you maybe, you know, go between a few trainers and see which ones you like, you know, before you really start to make that push again for a world title.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yo, so last Saturday, and this is relevant to Dominican boxing because we have a champion in that same division. Emmanuel Navarrete fought Liam Wilson in a really tough fight, and a lot of interesting things happened at the weigh-in. Supposedly there was some manipulation, they feel, where Navarrete came in at 130 and Liam Wilson came in at 126, and he says that he hasn't weighed 126 in over 10 years. He claims that he feels the weight was manipulated. And then not only that, in the fight, Liam Wilson drops Navarrete. Navarrete gets up, drops his mouthpiece. The referee gives him, I think the final count was like from the time he got dropped to the time he said fight was 24 seconds and didn't give him the shot to close the deal. And then eventually Liam Wilson got stopped. What's your opinion as far as all that controversy that happened in that fight?
I saw a few videos about the weigh-in thing, the weigh-in fiasco, and I'm not really too sure how to feel about it. But yeah, like Liam Wilson's a huge guy, so like when I heard he was like 126 and a half or something, I was like, okay, that's not true. Like that cannot be true. So I mean, and then like the video of the guy like resetting the scale like 3 times. I don't know, man.
It looks suspicious. It looks suspicious, bro.
Yeah. To be politically correct, it's a little suspicious, but I don't know. As for the knockdown, to be honest, I thought the ref was harsh on Navarrete because Navarrete was already grounded. Both of the gloves were on the ground when Wilson hit him like a couple seconds after with the shot that really did the damage to him. So if he was really like siding with Navarrete, he could have given him the full 5 minutes to recover. And in my opinion, he should have. But yeah, no, Navarrete was smart. He spat out the mouthpiece to give him a few more seconds. Veteran move there, and he was able to survive. It was a great fight.
No. I mean, yes, it was a great fight. But one thing I will say is I think Hector Luis Garcia beats the shit out of Navarrete. And that's not even me being biased. He does throw a lot of awkward punches, and sometimes that works to your benefit. But with Navarrete, a lot of times he'll throw his punches, and his punches will throw him off balance where he's leaning over and doing this. And a guy as sharp and as a tactician as my man Hector Luis Garcia is, I think he cooks him, bro. I think he beats him. I think he drops him maybe 2 times. Not necessarily he drops him like he hurts him, but he'll maybe set up a counter where, Navarrete is falling over forward and he'll catch him with a right hook or with a straight left hand or an uppercut. And those uppercuts are there to be had against Navarrete. What's your opinion on a possible, although it's different sides of the street, but this is a YouTube channel. We can entertain ourselves with the thought of a unification. How do you see that fight playing out between Navarrete and Hector Luis Garcia?
I'm still not sure where to stand on Navarrete at 130 pounds. The Wilson fight, Wilson's shown to be durable, but, frankly, I don't think he's that good at all. I mean, outside of his left hook, he hits extremely hard. See that in the Joe Noine fights and against Michel Rivera, where he's like not very skilled at all. He just hits hard. And Navarrete was kind of struggling there. And it's just weird to gauge him because, this was the first fight, I've seen where he didn't really have the physical advantages. He wasn't the bigger guy in the ring, and he clearly struggled with that. He's always, kind of bullied smaller guys like Isaac Dogbe, like, Joey Gonzalez, et cetera, et cetera. So against Hector would probably be bigger than him as well. And I think Hector could also have some of the same successes that Ruben Villa had in terms of boxing Navarrete up. I don't know, man. Like that's a tough task for Navarrete, in my opinion.
Yeah, nah. Well, one, you brought up size. I've met Hector Luis Garcia several times, and he's a lot bigger than he is on TV. Like the first time we ever met, like when I seen him, I walk in the gym, and like in my mind, for a second I didn't know I was the voice of Dominican boxing walking in there. But him and Puello, Puello wasn't there. He was so happy to see me. He's like, yo, bro, wait, Joe. He gave me a pound and then he gave me a hug. I was like, oh, like it caught me by surprise. And he was like, yo, thank you for what you're doing and this and that. And you really supporting the Dominican boxing. And I'm like hugging him and I'm like, damn, this dude kind of big. I'm like, so I immediately told him, I was like, yo, bro, like you're a lot taller than I thought. I'm like, I thought you were like smaller and also like physique smaller. But he got like rocky arms. He's definitely a big 130. That's why I wasn't concerned as far as with the weight cut moving up to 135 with Tank. I was like, yeah, he's not a small guy. So I know he can make that 130 good. But yeah, this guy moving up, Navarrete, I think he's definitely gonna have the size disadvantage. Maybe not in height. I think they may be the same height, but I'm talking about like physical size. And again, I just think Hector Garcia is just too sharp, has too much experience. And does good body work and does good, he's a good fighter. Last fight, even last fight, before he got stopped, he was fighting a good fight, and some people had him winning, some people had it even, some people, had him down one round, but point is, it was a close fight leading up into that stoppage.
Some people also only gave him one round.
Yeah, regardless of what the judges said, I'm talking about what really fucking happened. Because we all know that those judges, you know, Hector Garcia could have dropped him in every single round. He wasn't gonna get that fight.
Yeah, they were watching the Russell fight Meek Mill.
Yeah, they were probably scoring that shit. So I would love to see that fight. I know it'll never happen. But I don't want to say never. I know it won't happen anytime soon unless somehow, you know, let's say Garcia grabs the WBC and then Navarrete grabs the IBF, and then it's a potential undisputed fight. I can see that then, but other than that, I don't see the fight happening. But I would favor my Dominican. I would favor Hector Luis Garcia, who I still think is the best 130 pounder in the
To be honest, I think the fight's more realistic than we may think. I don't want to go down this whole path of like playing fantasy, but the reality is Top Rank have been trying to get rid of Emmanuel Navarrete for quite some time now, especially after he wanted to increase his pay. Top Rank weren't really wanting to do that. That's probably why they tried to put him in there with Shakur. And got that fight coming up with Oscar Valdez. I've been saying for months, even before the Liam Wilson fight, when everyone decided to come over, I think Oscar Valdez knocks him out. I think especially at 130, it's a different game. Oscar, I think Oscar. It's like the Burchell. Like people got carried away with the Conce style fight and the Shakur fight, where there's two guys on the back foot, kind of counter Valdez, who likes to be on the back foot himself. He's not, his footwork's kind of poor. He's a little like. It's completely different with Navarrete. Like Burchell was a killer. He was a real goon coming in there, knocking everyone over, running them over, and Valdez, he just countered the life out of them. And I think especially with how sharp Valdez can be, and those counter hooks and stuff. Navarrete, I don't know. Especially, I don't know if he can take those punches either, man. So we'll have to wait and see. But I do think if Valdez does win, that's gonna be their cue to give Navarrete the pink slip, and then who knows what with him and Hector Garcia.
Nah, I agree. I mean, hopefully it happens. Hopefully it plays out that way because we need more unifications in this world of boxing. And that division, for the most part, never really gets love. But if we could somehow start getting these unification, possibly, who knows, undisputed, that would definitely attract eyeballs to that division. But hold on. I want to give my man Ariel Alvarado a big shout out. Shout out to you, my brother. He says, keep up the content, bro. Keep repping Brooklyn. I appreciate that. I'm definitely from Brooklyn. I definitely won't ever stop repping Brooklyn. Same way I rep my Dominicans. Shout out to you. Again, the $2 super chat, you helping the channel. And every cent, every penny goes to me growing our channel and making it bigger and giving you guys more access. So I appreciate the $2, man. I really, really do. Thank you so much, my man.
That's more money for that flight and a new coat to go to Minnesota.
Unfortunately, I will be going to Minnesota, but we'll get to that. I want to. I'm from Brooklyn, so speaking of Brooklyn, yo, you saw my man Richardson Hitchens? Woo, yo, listen. I don't know if he's a contender or a prospect yet, but if he's a prospect, that's my number one prospect. If he's a prospect, I don't think he is. I want to put him at contender level already. He's already ranked in some of the sanctioned bodies. But that was as sharp as a performance as I've seen. I tweeted out, I was like, yo, I haven't seen somebody this sharp. No, I forget the exact quote, but I said something along the lines like, the only way to explain how sharp he is that he reminds me of Floyd Mayweather. I'm not saying he is Floyd Mayweather or is the next Floyd Mayweather. I'm just saying the only way to explain how sharp he looked was like, yo, he reminded me of Floyd. Richardson Hitchens from Brooklyn, New York. That dude is going to be a problem. Let that man get his opportunity, and I guarantee you he will be schooling these dudes at 140. So when people talk about 140 as a stacked division, make sure you mention Richardson Hitchens' name. Make sure you put respect on him because that dude came out and made a statement against John Bowser. But what's your thought on his last performance against John Bowser?
Hey, I was in the space when, people really cooking you for what you said. And I'm just there like, like I've been seeing the same things for years, and people were sleeping on Richardson. I think, because he wasn't really getting a spotlight. He was with Floyd Mayweather, so he was fighting on those like random cards, buried on the undercards, or fighting main events with like 50,000 people watching it across the country. But Richardson's always had that skill set. He's always been sharp, and people say he was like boring. He's always been exciting to me, and it's not like recency bias. Richardson, because I don't remember who said it. They said like Richardson's ready for everyone at 140 pounds. I think he is too.
It was Ezra. It was Ezra.
Yeah, I agree with him. He may not beat Regis, but I mean, who does beat Regis? I can't think of a single fighter on the planet I'd pick over Regis at 140. So, Matchroom have done a great job with him, in my opinion. They matched him well. The Yomar Alamo fight was a good step up for him, and he stopped him, an emphatic performance. And then the John Bowser fight, where I was a little concerned for him towards the end of that fight. I was like, okay, especially if Richardson's not going to get him up out of there, which partially is the corner's fault and the referee's fault, but like that was like some serious damage he was taking.
That jab closed up his eye, man. I'm pretty sure he went to the hospital after that fight. He was getting pieced up, got dropped and everything. He really did him dirty.
Yeah, Richardson's been taking everyone's lunch money at 140 pounds. That's going to continue. The rumor is that him and Montana Love's next, and again, Richardson's just on another level to these guys. It's kind of unfair to match against this level of opposition, man, because he's just going to keep taking their lunch money.
Honestly, I would have preferred him to fight Steve Spark, to be honest, because Steve Spark was putting it on Montana Love before Montana Love got disqualified. But hey, Montana Love is a good talker. He's an American, so somehow, some way, the fighter gets sold. But I picture my man Richardson Hitchens just putting on a boxing clinic. I do wish he had more power, but unfortunately, that's not everybody can have power. But hey, if you doing that, and I don't want to hear nobody say that was boring, because that was just a master class performance, showed skills. I don't think he got hit 10 times in one round. I don't think there was double digit, punches landed on him in any round. He really boxed really well, landed that beautiful jab. Like that jab, and I need to see more of it before I say it is, but that jab has the potential of being the best jab in boxing. Again, I need to see more of it. Like Bivol and Haney for sure are definitely the best jabs in boxing. One of those two. But I'm just saying, Hitchens, if he keeps showing me what he's been showing me, both in the Yomar Alamo fight and in this in the John Bowser fight, he may be making a statement. So I'm high on him. I definitely want to see more of him, and I think he's a big player at 140.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I also, as I said, I disagree with people calling him boring. Especially after these performances he's been putting on. And in terms of his power, I don't think he really lacks power. It reminds me a bit of like Shakur, where he doesn't have like a ton of power, but he is really precise and sharp and stuff like that. So it really adds up. And plus, I think as Richardson gets older, I think he's only like 23, 24. So that's going to keep coming. And when he eventually goes up like 147, starts growing, it's definitely going to be there. It's definitely going to be there. Nice. But Stevie Spark, Montana Love, DAZN loves that misfit shit. Throw them both in there with Richardson. 2-on-1 handicap match. He's still with me.
Hey man, I listen. I wouldn't put it past it, man. Richardson Hitchens look really sharp. Somebody I interviewed before, Hendry Cedeño Martinez, who a lot of my fans really liked his personality, really liked his charisma, and the little bit they have seen, whether it be the clips I posted of him on Twitter or the fights they've seen on YouTube and stuff like that, they've been really impressed. He fights February 24th. You will be able to watch it on the Schwan Boxing YouTube page. This is the poster for it. Hendry Cedeño Martinez will be fighting Eloy Rada. He's a Venezuelan. I believe his record is like 8-2. So anybody who has been wondering about the fighter I interviewed and when is he going to fight, he'll be fighting February 24th, and you'll be able to watch it for free on Schwan Boxing's YouTube page. All right, let's get to a big topic that's been happening in the world of boxing today. Oscar De La Hoya has come out and said that the fight with Tank versus Ryan Garcia is at risk because the rematch clause is saying that the rematch, if Ryan were to win, it has to happen on Showtime again, and he wants the rematch to happen on the Zone. I'll go first on this. I don't like rematch clauses. So anytime negotiations fall apart because of a rematch clause, I blame the camp that's presenting it. Why? Because I don't like it. That's just the way I am. Oh, but you the A side. But you got to understand this is a business. And oh, Floyd did it and Canelo. I don't give a fuck what anybody did. I don't like it. I don't like it. How is it that I beat you and I'm beholden to you and I got to go on your rules on the second fight? Bro, we negotiate in one fight at a time. I don't like that rematch clause shit at all. And like, I really don't care. The next fight has to be on the Zone or on Showtime. Like, I'm not even getting into the nitty gritty of that as to who I blame if the fight doesn't happen. I'm getting into the nitty gritty is like, yo, bro, why are you presenting a rematch clause? I don't like it. And I understand from a business perspective, they want to protect their asset. They want to get their get back. But from a fan's perspective, which is what I speak as, I don't like rematch clauses. I like it where I beat you and then, oh shit, you know what? If I want to run it back, I'll run it back. Not like, oh, I'm beholden to you and we have to fight at the venue you want, even though I just beat you. Oh, we have to fight on my network and you're going to have to wear pink shorts and all these fucking stipulations for a rematch when it's like, yo, bro, I beat you. Now it's my turn to tell you what I want to do. And if I don't want to fight you, then I don't want to fight you. If I want to fight on the Zone with you, then I want to fight in the Zone with you. That is just my opinion as far as rematch clauses go, period. I'm not arguing who's the A side and who determines where the fights happen. That's not what I'm arguing. I'm just arguing I don't like rematch clauses. So anytime fights fall apart, I blame the party presenting it. So what is your opinion as far as everything that happened with the rematch clause and the fight possibly not happening?
I'm still optimistic the fight happens. I think, ultimately the two fighters will demand, their networks and promoters to, get their stuff together and make it happen. But, frankly, I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, but I mean, this is on whoever's, behind the scenes in Tank's career. Like, because the reality is Ryan Garcia is making all of the concessions here, and he probably shouldn't be. The only thing he really has going for him is the fights at 136, which, I mean, to be fair, he'd probably also prefer it to be at 140. So, at some point, Gervonta Davis is also going to have to do the same to make the fight happen. I mean, all of the stipulations here are in Tank's favor. And my initial thought was, so there's a one-sided rematch clause, and if Ryan wins, the fight has to be on Showtime again. So I'm like, well, for one, that's fucking stupid. And two, like, if you're gonna have a rematch clause, especially a fight of this magnitude, it should either go both ways or just not have one at all. But like, I believe Ryan Garcia and his team had originally agreed on everything, thinking that it would be the case. Like, if Ryan wins, it'll be on DAZN, which obviously makes sense. DAZN, he's their poster boy, and they kind of need him on the schedule. Golden Boy need him to have something to show to DAZN, or otherwise DAZN might just throw him away because they're not really interested in Zurdo versus Rosado. All due respect. So to be honest, like, I get why, the fight's in jeopardy now. If Ryan's team and Oscar De La Hoya are looking at this like, whoa, hold on, pump the brakes. But I do ultimately think that they'll come to a deal and it'll still happen.
I hope so. It's ridiculous that this is the way boxing is going, but unfortunately, that's the way boxing is going. You can't like everything can't be super duper perfect for a fight to happen. Like, it's getting ridiculous. We've been burned too many times as far as what's happening. Well, like, why are we not getting the fights when we want them? The fights we want when we want them. That's what we want. And like, I get it. All right, Tank is getting the bigger split. The fights at 136, because we know Ryan last two fights have been at 140. Ryan's now a 140 pounder, so he's already making that concession. He's already going to your network for the first fight. And yes, I understand most A-side, like, rematch clauses. The fight doesn't happen. Like, I don't remember ever a case where there was a rematch clause where one fighter beat a guy and then the rematch was on another network. I've never seen that. But again, I don't like this rematch clause shit, especially when the guy's bending backwards to make the fight happen. Like, come on, let's go. Like, in negotiations, you got to give a little too. You know what I'm saying? You got to bend a little too. You got to, like, sacrifice a little bit of what you want too. You're not going to get everything. And if the fight falls apart because of this, it would be one of the deepest, blackest eyes in boxing. Because with the Crawford Spence thing not happening, I understand that hurt us, but that fight isn't as big. And I'm talking about on the market level. It's not as big as a Tank Ryan. It's not. Maybe it's more important. And in terms of historical, it's two undefeated fighters, although this one's two undefeated fighters as well. But it's in the welterweight division, it's a glamour division, and it's for undisputed. And this fight's been brewing for 3-4 years, and blah blah blah. Okay, but it's still not bigger. It's still not big. It's two totally different fan bases, two huge fan bases coming together. Both are very good on social media. Both have a big presence, not only with just the boxing fans, but with the young boxing fans. Like, Ryan Garcia has a lot of young followers as well as a lot of female followers. So this would be a very, very big black eye if this fight doesn't happen.
I agree with you. I don't think it's comparable at all to Spence Crawford because of the magnitude of the fight. Spence Crawford was a big fight in the boxing world, but frankly, it's not going to cross over as much as like a Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia or a Canelo Alvarez versus David Benavidez, etc. So, and with that fight, you kind of look at everything and you're like, okay, Terrence Crawford did this, this, and this. With this fight, it's like Gervonta Davis wants to fight, Ryan Garcia wants to fight. Why is this not happening? Why can the sport not make these fights happen? And it's just, it actually is a dark day for boxing if this fight does not happen.
Yeah. And like, we didn't get Mayweather Pacquiao when we wanted. We didn't even get Joshua Wilder, period. We didn't get it too late. We didn't get it too early. We didn't get it, period. We didn't get Riddick Bowe versus Lennox Lewis. We haven't gotten Terrence Crawford versus Spence. And now you're telling us we're not going to get Ryan versus Tank? Like, it's too many of these big fights that we want to see that we don't get. Also, another underrated big fight that never happened was at featherweight, Juan Manuel Lopez versus Yuriorkis Gamboa. That was a big fight back in the early, like 2009-10, around that time. And then, Juan Manuel getting knocked out twice by Orlando Salido. You know what I'm saying? Like we have to figure this out as a boxing community, as a boxing business, as all of that. We need to figure that out.
Yeah, I mean, we can date back to recent times with the Munguia Charlo thing because it's really the same exact thing. And it's at some point these networks and promoters got to take that financial risk. Because like a lot of people say, like, oh, the fighters don't want to risk their stuff like that, and I don't think that's the case. I think a lot of these fighters, they'll get in the ring with anybody. Like Jaime Munguia, the biggest duck in boxing. He has signed up for so many fights, and Oscar De La Hoya is just like, no, we don't think you're ready for that. And it's like, it's so disappointing from a fan perspective when that these guys want to fight each other and they're being held back, and a lot of times again for that financial risk.
Yeah. No, I agree. The everybody's to blame. The networks, the fighters, the promoters, the managers, everybody's to blame if this fight doesn't happen. Al, de lo mío, que lo que, mi hermano? What's going on, brother? How you doing?
No, I'm good. What's going on, Joel, man? What's going on, BB? I was on the chat earlier, but then I dropped off. I was running, so what's going on?
Not much, man. We was just discussing the possibility of Tank versus Ryan not happening due to that Oscar De La Hoya would like the rematch if
Ryan I heard about that.
Be on the zone.
Yeah, that I mean, they should work out a deal like that because didn't Fury and Wilder worked out like that? Like the second fight would be like a 60-40. It would be mostly on ESPN or something like that.
I believe
it was so. The winner.
I don't know the exact details, but I believe so that something like that did happen. But
Yeah.
what I will say is, if I'm Ryan's team, if I'm gonna give in, you're gonna have to give in something else. I'll be like, all right, we'll do the fight at we'll do the rematch clause on Showtime, but the fight's now at 139. Either the fight's at 139 and the rematch will be at on Showtime, or the fight's at 136 and the rematch will be on the zone. The choice is on you. I'll throw it on them. I'll be like, well, now you can have your cake and eat it too, but you're gonna have to give in on something too. That's the way I would conduct my business. Listen, at some point you're gonna have to give in. You want this fight to happen just like I do. Yeah, you may have options, and I could fight Puello for a belt at 140. I could fight Frank Martin coming off a big win over Michel Rivera. I can fight Pitbull in a rematch, or I can fight De Los Santos, who had a big win over Rayo. Yeah, okay, you got those options, but you're not gonna sell 750,000 pay-per-views with those guys. You're not. You may sell 250, you may possibly sell 300 depending on the opponent. But you're not selling what you're selling with Ryan. So you got to give in too. That's the way I would go about it. So either you give up something on the weight, or you give up the rematch clause as to where it's going to be. The choice is yours.
Yep, I totally agree with you. And I remember leading up to the fight with Garcia, with Hector Garcia. Mm-hmm. I remember, I think it was in the post press conference where he said that they were just like Ryan Garcia was being a yes man, like accepting all the offers that Tank was negotiating, so just to make that fight happen. So they got to give in, definitely, No,
for sure. I agree. Yeah. Listen, man, let's just get the fight, man. Let's get the fight done. Let's hammer it down, the deal. Let's lock each other in the fucking room until there's not a deal signed. We can't fucking leave. I'll put 2 big ass security guards that won't allow us to walk out until we have a deal here. And again, that will be my stipulation. If I'm on the Golden Boy side, either we make concessions on the weight, or we make concessions on where the fight's gonna be. But you're not gonna give me I'm not gonna just take everything you offer to me like I'm your fucking your fucking fetch dog. Nah, bro. This is a negotiations. You're gonna be uncomfortable in some things. I'm gonna be uncomfortable in some things. That's just a part of negotiations. But it's gonna be a give for a give. It's not gonna be I just give you everything and whatever. I just have to bow down to whatever you offering. I don't like it. I don't like the way that the business of boxing has been working out lately, and hopefully this doesn't fall under one of those names that I just mentioned.
Yeah.
One of the fights that I didn't get and I wanted to see. And oh man, I think Pacquiao in his prime would have beat Floyd. No, I think that Floyd would. Oh no, wait a minute. I think Wilder would have beat Joshua. No, I think Joshua would have beat Wilder.
Yeah.
I don't want to have that with. I would have think Ryan. No, I would have think. Yeah. I don't want that. Let the motherfuckers fight. Somebody gets knocked out. There is no argument as to who won. Who won? The guy who won.
And I think the obvious solution here is to just ditch the rematch clause altogether. I mean, the zone's not going to want to give up Ryan Garcia for an entire year. And I get from Showtime's perspective that they probably do want Ryan for 2 fights, because the reality is, people say, oh, Ryan has no options. Gervonta has options. And Frank Martin is not an option. Frank Martin doing 200,000 pay-per-view buys versus Ryan Garcia doing 800,000. That's not a fucking option. Gervonta Davis also he does not ask for any fights at all. He said this himself multiple times. He does not ask for any fights. He has asked for Ryan Garcia for years. So he does not have the options everybody wants to think he has. He is also, all in on Ryan Garcia.
That's a good point. Hold on. I want to get to the super chat. My man AB. Shout out to my man AB with the $2 super chat. I appreciate you, my man. Investing in the channel, man. Investing little by little. We brick by brick, we're gonna build an empire here. It says in the Tank Ryan, in the Tank Ryan fight, who is the A side and who is the B side? I think it's pretty clear who's the A side and who's the B side. The A side is definitely Tank Davis, which is why he has the leverage in all these stipulations. And but damn, it's I understand from the Golden Boy's perspective, it's all right, you have the leverage, but bro, you trying to take the whole arm and the leg too. Give up something too. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, he
so
said he was trying to get all the slices of the pie.
it's like, yo, all right. Well, I like Ryan Garcia is our biggest star at Golden Boy. If he beats him, we don't want him a year out of the zone. Let's bring that money back to the zone a little bit, and we could work something out. But you like they're so unwilling to work with Golden Boy. It seems that it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And like I said, if I'm Golden Boy, if I do bend and I do give them what they want, they're gonna have to give me something what I want. Again, and the what I have in mind is the weight. Yo, let's make it at 140 then. That's it. You giving me something, I'm giving you. You know what I'm saying? Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Juan, yo. Hold on. What the fuck? What the fuck happened to your camera?
Let's go.
Yo, bro, after Michelle lost, I thought yo dije te seguindo. What's up? Yo, bro, after
My
Michelle lost,
dude.
I haven't seen you.
You know you a real boxing fan when you gotta go and go in the dark for a little while. You know you a box. You know you not a casual when you saw for the defeat, just like the fighter did. You know when you're invested, when you got your hopes up. But I'm back now. I'm back. I see my guys training, getting back into his routine, and we're hoping for better days, man. I missed the announcements. Any announcements?
Yo, bro, you missed a crazy. Yo, this has been a great show. There's been a lot going on. I'll run it down for you because I got my notes here. So first, did you see Rolly getting dropped in sparring?
You sure? I sure did.
All right, so we talked about that. We talked about Rolly versus Puello, and you can stop me anytime you want to talk about something.
Puello and Rolly's official?
It's official in April. They're looking at most likely sometime April 8th. That's not an exact date, but like they're looking in April, one of those dates in April.
Okay, cool.
Title shot, right?
Yeah, he got the title shot after getting knocked out in his first fight at 140. It's some bullshit.
It's amazing.
Something that'll never happen to a Dominican, but we'll let that slide.
Yeah.
De Los Santos Pitbull. That's a heavy rumor that it's going to be its own main event for free on Showtime. So it's not signed, it's not announced, it's not none of that. But
question. Would you rather be his own main event, or you rather see it on the other card of that big stage fight?
I'd rather it be its own main event, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because it will be more focused on the fighters.
Exactly. Now, and a lot of times what happens is, motherfuckers show up for the main event. Like they don't show up for the undercard, and it may get lost in the sauce. Like I remember watching Takashi Miura versus Francisco Vargas on the Canelo Cotto undercard, and that was one of the most vicious fights I've ever seen, right? And
Fight of the year.
Fight party, drinking beer, eating a sandwich, not looking at the fight, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm the only one watching it, so I don't want something like that to happen to my man De Los Santos. I want my man De Los Santos to get his full, credit, full view, and all the attention on him. So if he scores this big knockout against Cruz, who what's his name?
Who
Tank
Cruz got I think Cruz got a strong chin, man.
No, but I'm just saying, if he were to knock him out, and who Tank couldn't knock out, and that's a main event on Showtime for free, that'll be a huge deal.
His career changes. A Tank fight down the line, most likely.
Yeah. So that's we talked about a few other things, but those are the main topics that we talked about. But one of the topics I wanted to touch on is Triple G. So Triple G just announced that he was dropping the IBF belt. And since doing that, the WBA has ordered him to fight Erislandy Lara, and they have 15 days to come into an agreement. So February 23rd will be when the deadline as to when they have to have a fight. And if they don't come into agreement by the 23rd, the fight will go to a purse bid.
So Lara and Triple G are fighting?
Well, it's been ordered. It's been
ordered. Oh, it's been ordered.
It's been ordered. Who knows? The Triple G could.
So I don't understand. Triple G drops what belt he dropped?
Yeah, he dropped the IBF, and with the IBF, his mandatory was Esquivia Falcao, the Olympic silver medalist from Brazil.
So he drops the belt and then gets ordered to fight for the belt again?
No, he gets ordered for his WBA belt.
Okay, for the
He was
WBA.
unified.
Okay.
So
that's a more exciting fight, if you ask me.
I mean, who knows? These dudes are old, man. I wanted to see this fight 7-8 years ago.
Yo, Lara didn't fight a lot of guys at one. I mean, he fought guys, but he didn't fight Charlo at 154. Both of the Charlos.
Nah, but he fought Paul Williams. He fought Canelo. He fought Hurd. He fought.
Yeah, he fought a lot of tough guys. I'm bugging. He fought
guys. He fought guys. But yeah, let me talk about this real quick. So Lara, again, I just think this fight is a little too late. I remember wanting to see this fight 4 or 5 years ago, but possibly even more than that. But now I think, like, again, as I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of fights that we get too late. So this may be a fight that we get too late. But hey, this fight, if they come into an agreement, most likely it's on PBC. Erislandy Lara is with PBC. If Erislandy Lara could get a win, that's a unification opportunity. Well, if they elevate Carlos Adames. But point is, that's an opportunity for Carlos Adames to, hey, now I can fight for a belt. You know what I'm saying? Or if the WBC unifies him, I could unify this belt with Erislandy Lara. So what are you guys' thoughts on one, Triple G dropping the belt, 2, the idea of him fighting Lara, and 3, the idea of the winner fighting Adames?
To be honest, I mean, I thought the belt being dropped was, always going to happen. Gennady Golovkin said he wanted a homecoming in Kazakhstan in March. It's now February, and nothing has been announced further than that fight may happen. So I'm not surprised that he dropped the IBF belt. As for the Lara fight, I mean, whatever. Like, I'm no offense to Erislandy Lara, but I've never been interested in watching any of his fights. And now that him and Golovkin may be, I think, the oldest combined age for a world title fight. Like, so, whatever. If the fight happens, cool. I think Golovkin wins. But it's just way too late.
I was excited for Charlo and this guy from Australia, man. But Charlo hurt his hand, I think, right?
Tim Tszyu. Yeah, you talk about 54. And Elvis was supposed to be on that undercard, so Elvis would have had already fought had that fight not got postponed, which really upset me because Elvis has been out the ring already long enough. So for him to have another delay, that really pissed me off. But
yeah, Triple G and Larry, it's not no cachet to that fight right now.
It doesn't excite you. What
I'll watch it, but
what do you guys thoughts on the winner possibly fighting Carlos Adames next?
It's the same division, right?
Yeah.
I don't think nobody's eager to get in there with Caballo right now.
I agree. But look what Caballo just tweeted out. By the way, he's been very active on Twitter, which I appreciate.
I'm just shocked they still got Charlo with that belt, man. It's tragedy, man, what they doing with Charlo.
Yeah, hold on 1 second. So Dan Rayfield tweeted out, middleweight is such an uninteresting division right now.
Oh, wow. And
Carlos Adames quote tweeted it and said, I don't think so. Just wait a few days. So you know what I'm just saying? Maybe he has something that he's gonna announce in a couple days. I will call him tomorrow.
That's a PBC fighter, man. So don't you think they're pushing, hey, Charlo, we don't got nothing for you, but we got this Dominican guy here. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Oh, I know why he's saying just wait a few days. Steven Espinoza on Chicken Talk said the PBC schedule is going to be announced after the Super Bowl.
Ooh.
Shout out to Lefty from Chicken Talk. That excites me. That excites me. If he can get a name. Last time I heard it was going to be Fedor Shakagian, but then I heard it wasn't. But then somebody from another source told me it was. So I don't know who it's going to be.
I'm just happy my guys is getting paid, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm just happy they eating right now, man.
Yeah, no, and if Charlo is on that no tune-up shit, yo, hold on, fight my man, fight Adames. I would love that fight. And I know nobody gives nobody's gonna give Adames a chance over Charlo.
I won't be surprised if he knocks Charlo out, man.
I wouldn't be either. Yo,
because Charlo gets hit.
And he got bricks in them hands. Adames, people like to talk shit about his gas tank, but go look at his knockout percentage. Go look at how he knocks motherfuckers out. They react different when he knocks them out. The guy that Xander Zayas last fought, he went to decision with. Yo, fucking Adames folded him like a lawn chair when he fought him. Just with one shot, one left hook to the jaw. Just bloop. And then Montiel went to decision with Charlo, destroyed him in 3. Like, he got power in those hands. And the fact that he's at 160, I think that's helping him with his gas tank issues. Because I think maybe he was just a big boy and he was cutting down to welterweight, cutting down to 154. Now he's hydrated. He's not, depleting himself. And he's in a weak division where he can probably take over, to be honest with you, if he gets the opportunities.
Do we think there's a chance of the Charlo fight actually happening? I mean, he says no tune-ups. We have not seen him in what? It's been 18 months now. His last fight, it was 9 months after the Derevyanchenko fight, and he fought Juan Montiel. You know what I mean? You kind of have to expect that if he does go back down to 160, which I don't think he'll do, he'll still at least fight a tune-up or two. Me personally, I would also not jump straight into a Carlos Adames fight 18 months out of the ring.
I hope so. I hope he does take it. I hope he's stupid enough to do it. I hope he looks at that Patrick Teixeira fight and he thinks that this is the same Carlos Adames. That's what I hope happens. So that when he fucking gets his jaw
Or the
broken,
WC can mandate it and make it easy. But
the thing is, the WBC, they never gonna do that to an American fighter. Yo, WBC with Americans and Mexicans.
Forget about it. They hold themselves out to them.
Yeah, but with Dominicans, forget
They'll
about it.
give you the hardest mandatory right away.
Yeah, they'll be like, yo, you. So, honestly, the one sanctioning body, and I'm always overly critical about all of them. The one sanctioning body that seems to be showing us love is the WBA.
You're right. You can't.
The WBA got Garcia and Puello as champion. Mini Pac-Man's the WBA regular. He's going to Thailand to fight for the super belt. Luis Nunez, the 126 pounder, he's ranked number 5 in the WBA. And we got a couple other guys. Justice. Yeah, no, we got a couple other guys that are ranked in the WBA. So shout out to the WBA for supporting us, because we need that.
Who excites you over there? I don't know what's crazy, but you know something, Joel? I never get too excited about top-ranked fighters. Who excites you over there right
now? The thing is, they just got a bunch of fucking prospects. They really don't got
They don't got a name. They don't got no cat. No.
They don't got no big names. The prospect that I like most from over there is Raymond Murataya. He's a Mexican American kid who trains with Robert Garcia. That's the dude who I'm most excited about as far as what he has to offer in this boxing game. I really like his style. I like him more than Keyshawn Davis. And some people Keyshawn is the next best thing next to sliced bread. Is
Shakur's probably the highest guy they got right now. Besides that,
yeah,
I'm surprised you said Murataya.
Out of the prospects.
Yeah, no, I know you like Murataya. I thought you were gonna say Rohan Polanco.
I gotta see more Rohan Polanco. I was actually talking with him today. I'm trying to get him on the show.
The Cuban kid, even though he lost one fight, he's pretty.
Robesi Ramirez.
He's fighting for a title.
He's fighting for a title. He's fighting
Dogbay. Isaac Dogbay. He was supposed to. He's gonna knock him out. He's gonna knock him out.
How PG-13 is this stream? Can I share my nickname for Isaac Dogbay?
Yeah.
I call him Isaac Dog Shit.
Isaac Dog Shit.
Yeah, he's over the hill now, man. He gets hit. He's gonna get hit.
Yeah, he's too small. He's too small, man. He's too small to fight. Robesi Ramirez, man, he could fight at 130.
I think he's
fighting at 126.
Nah, Ramirez looks small to me. Ramirez,
you think so?
No, he's really small. He was for a long time. He was talking about going down to 118 to fight Inoue, and he could still go down to 122. He's really small.
He said,
Really?
I ain't hear him say that. That's crazy. Nah, but
Does it surprise you the power he has that he's shown?
Yeah.
Yeah, he could pop. When
Yo,
he popped
I saw
Nova,
that.
I was shocked. I was shocked. The way he knocked out Nova, I thought it was gonna be like a more competitive fight, like go to distance, but he got Nova
I was
out of
there
it.
at that fight. I was there.
He
at
walked
that
him
fight.
down. He walked him down. Like
I was there at that fight, and bro, he's like super fast, like pew, pew. Not necessarily like hand speed. I'm just talking about like how he would get from point A to point B with his feet. He was like pew, 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 pew. It was just like whoa, and he had swag, putting his hands down, moving his head, and doing all this type of shit. Kind of reminded me a little bit of Lomachenko, but yeah, no. Apparently got bricks in his hand, knocked out Nova with one shot, sent him to the hospital. That was a very impressive knockout.
I would love to see that. I would love to see that in Shakur now. I know he's
No, I would.
Why wouldn't you want to see that, VV?
Shakur exposes him.
Big for him. Shakur way too big for him.
Yeah.
But like that Nova knock. Look, I'm not gonna brag or nothing. I know everyone's picking real basic, but decision. I was like, dude, he gonna knock this dude out. I did not expect that. I think I had like a top 5 for my knockouts of the year last year. It was crazy. But Robesi got the full package, man. That Adon Gonzalez fight, first fight turned pro. That was after, he spent 6 months in Mexico, just got to Florida, coming to the U.S., a new trainer, a trainer that, frankly, wasn't really doing much for him. He moved over to Ishmael Salas after that loss, and he's put all the pieces together. And, we talk about all these fighters and the level they've shown. Robesi Ramirez got a certain, level of versatility. He could really do it all alongside the physical gifts that he has. He's like Superman in the ring, So, I can't wait. April 1st, I think it is. Dude, that's a special fighter, and he's still young. He's still got a long career ahead of him.
By the way, you mentioned April 1st. Rohan Polanco, the Dominican, the only Dominican on Top Rank, will be making his Top Rank debut April 1st on that card. So I'm excited to see what he's about. He's a welterweight. Yo, we never had a welterweight world champion. So what I've seen out of him, I've seen he looks like a good prospect, but not enough for me to get excited and be like, oh shit. But I've seen good things. I need to see a little bit more. And I'm glad he's with Top Rank, because Top Rank, 2 reasons. 1, they give a lot of exposure to the young fighters. And 2, they do a lot of cards in New York. So they'll be bringing Rohan to New York. So we'll be able to, even if he's deep on the undercard, I'll be able to tell, yo, Al, yo, Juan, let's link up just to show him some support. Bring 2-3 guys. We won't go super crazy like how the big, when we got it for a big fight where we're going to take a whole section down. But we'll be like, yo, let's show Rohan some support and see him grow. Every time he comes, he knows he's going to have 5 or 6 guys in the crowd with Dominican flags supporting him. So I definitely like the idea of him being with Top Rank for those 2 reasons, where if you want to see him fight, you can see him on the ESPN Plus, or he's fighting in New York on the Teofimo or Shakur Stevenson on the card. Yo, let's go check him out. And then we have our little section where it'd be like 4 or 5, 10 guys, who knows? And little by little, we're going to start growing. I'm excited about that. The idea of him being with Top Rank.
PBC should take notes and do that with the Dominican fighters at least, or build something with a smaller stadium like Hulu, or a place where you could put these young guys that's coming up, like Rodriguez, Rivera, because they haven't learned sticking them all the way there in Vegas and Minnesota, man.
Yo, bro, I'm going to Minnesota. To cover Elvis Rodriguez's fight against Adorno. I'm going out there strictly to support Elvis, because I feel like he hasn't gotten the support he deserves. So I'm strictly
too damn far.
That fight should have been in New York or Jersey, man.
Bro,
you got a Dominican and a Puerto Rican fighter.
A Puerto Rican,
or at least in Florida.
Bro, you got Matias, a Puerto Rican, fighting a fucking Argentinian, and then you got a Dominican on the undercard, and you throwing him in Minnesota.
Yeah,
what sense does that make? Like, to me, that's a perfect fight, like in Orlando or Florida. I don't think that's a New York fight, because I don't think, like, because New York is expensive. When you throw a card in New York, you got to spend money with insurance.
Man, throw that shit in Philly, man. Throw that shit in Jersey. I bet you.
Yeah, in Jersey,
no,
something like that.
Penstown, man, you throw that in Philly, that's his hometown. One of them little 3,000-4,000 state. People will go over there to go see that fight and pack the house.
I agree, but
he's from Pennsylvania, Puerto Rican. There's Dominicans out there. We'll shoot out there.
No, hell yeah, and like again, for a fight like that, we'll pack that shit out. I'll push the button with this fucking YouTube channel, and I'll make sure everybody goes and bring their 96 cousins. That's it. But like, yo, you know out there. How the fuck I'm gonna tell Juan and Al, yo, get on the fucking plane to Minnesota in February, the coldest fucking month. You know what I'm saying? Like, how with a straight face am I ask you guys to do that?
I don't know why they do that. I don't know.
That story for another. Don't get me started on that because I'll be ranting on that.
Yeah, like that doesn't make no sense.
Yo, but one thing I will say that I'm gonna do, and shout out to Al, he's on right now. He sent me a movie that's coming out. There's a George Foreman movie that's coming out. I believe it's April 24th. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set something up where we all link up to watch the movie together. So
that'll be a neat experience, man.
Yeah, we'll all link up, watch the movie together, and then depending on if y'all up for it, I could find a bar, and then afterwards we go to a bar, have a couple drinks. You know what I'm saying? And that way we have a good time. We already fucking spend hours on this YouTube shit. Why not? Do it in person. Look, man. Yeah, that way
definitely.
I gotta figure it out. Maybe in Manhattan or in Brooklyn, somewhere kind of like in the middle, so it's easy for everybody to get to.
Hey, bro, what are you hearing about? Like these guys that's coming up next that took losses, and Michel, like even Frank Martin. I would want to know his next fight. Like these guys that just finished fighting. Garcia, like what's coming up for them in this year? Are you hearing things?
I haven't heard anything, but this is my guess. This is not from no sources. This is not something that I spoke to somebody. This is not an exclusive. This is my guess. My guess is that Pitbull is not going to take that De Los Santos fight.
Yeah.
That's my guess. So since he's not going to take that De Los Santos fight,
take a Rivera fight easier. Probably.
No. What I think is he's going to take I think De Los Santos is going to fight Frank Martin. That's what I think. No inside source. That
would be exciting.
So that's you asking Frank Martin. That's what Michel. I think he takes his next fight at 138, 139 against a guy like like a fucking Jorge Linares or fucking Zaru Abdulayev or something like that. Like a kind of like a easier fight.
Yeah.
But at like 138, 139.
Linares was ordered to fight him, man. He didn't take the fight.
Yeah, of course. Yo, who got that with that background noise, man?
They're eating chips or something.
Yo, yeah.
No, that was me. My fault. That was me.
No.
Hey, Broadway, you see what I sent you on Twitter?
Hold on. Let me check. You DM'd it to me?
Yeah, I did.
Hold on 1 second. Okay, hold on. All right. I definitely gotta screen share this. And shout out to Vivi for being the plug. According to Ryan Garcia's side, the deal to fight Gervonta Davis is nearly finalized and is the only fight being discussed. They hope it will be complete in a couple of days. Feels like the bigger the fight, the longer the negotiations drag out in boxing. So there you go. Some positive news. It looks like this is the only fight they want. They're not looking at another fight like, oh, maybe we take this one, maybe not, maybe this. That's how the boxing world works. But I'm not gonna believe that fight happens until they both in the fucking
yeah.
I think it's good news though, because there was rumors of the Prograis flight floating around, which I didn't think it was going to happen anyway. It just doesn't make sense to go willingly fight Regis Prograis after the Gervonta Davis negotiations. But it kind of shuts down. Also, after the rumors of the fight being in jeopardy, you're still seeing good things, positive things from Ryan Garcia's side.
Yeah. I mean, hey, they need to calm us down because I'm usually in general in life and everything. I'm a positive person. I like to think positive. But when it comes now to boxing, if there's a misstep in the negotiations, I automatically turn to negative. I've been burned too much. I've been burned to be too invested and be like, nah, don't worry about it. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Things are looking in the pointing in the right direction. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I'm done with that. I'm done with that. I'm done.
What though? After all those rumors came out, we had Steven Espinoza. He said he's still optimistic. And he says, if that's the only issue, then that's great news. It's something we can easily solve. And now, 2 days later, we get the news that Ryan Garcia's side, it's the only fight they want, only fight they're focused on, and they look to get a deal done in the coming days. So, to me, as a boxing fan, I'm looking at it like, wow, like that's great news, because a lot of times you can hear like one person be like, well, we're looking at other options, et cetera, et cetera. Nah, they still focused, and it sounds good to me.
Hey man, as long like I said, if I'm them, I'll lock myself in a fucking room with Steven Espinoza and the zone president and Oscar De La Hoya and whoever is and Al Heyman. And we're not leaving this room until we got a deal. Until we got a deal, we're not leaving the room.
I mean, 2 days later, it sounds like that's what they did.
Hey, I hope that energy stays the same. My man L Dub Boxing, my man Book, shout out to you, my brother. So De Los Santos is number 10 in the new WBA rankings, and Frank Martin is ranked number 2. Sounds realistic. Yeah, I think that's the fight that next happens. I don't think Pitbull takes the fight, and I think De Los Santos versus Frank Martin happens. And that's a beautiful fight, great fight, 50-50 fight, I think, and one that I would be very excited for. Juan, you had asked about Garcia too. What you think is what I think is next for him? Again, no sources. This is me guessing. I think he fights Leo Santa Cruz. Leo Santa Cruz is ranked number 3 in the WBA at 130. Is a common opponent with Tank, and it's also a soft touch after him getting knocked out by getting stopped by Tank. So
beautiful fight, man. Beautiful fight.
I think that's out of the guys you mentioned. Again, I think Michel gets a soft touch. I think De Los Santos fights Frank Martin, and I think Hector Garcia fights Hector.
Stylistically, that makes a great fight for both of them.
Yeah, no, I know it is.
That's a great matchup.
They gotta get Leo back in the ring, though.
What's up?
They got to get Leo back in the ring before that, though.
Nah, fuck that. We want him rusty. Why other people can fight his rusty and we can't? Fuck that shit. Give us some easy shit. A-Side, Truth, what's going on, bro?
What's going on, my boy? How you?
I'm good. Just talking boxing, What's your
thoughts? Is it just
me
or bro is growing? Or the channel's growing? I like what I see, baby. I like it.
You already know I'm the voice, man. I'm the voice. But Truth, what's your opinion on the Ryan Garcia Tank Davis negotiations? Who's at fault? Where do you think this is heading? What's your opinion?
I don't know, man. I just tweeted though, whether you the A side or B side, if this fight don't get made, everybody looks incapable. You know what I mean? So again, like a lot of now more and more than before, the fans are starting to get into the business of boxing. But whether you want to get into the business of boxing or not, a Charlo versus Munguia fight not happening, that's bad for business. Haney versus Ryan versus Tank not happening, bad for business. Spence and Crawford not happening, bad for business. And it's starting to look like these big fights are incapable of being made. So again, whether you on the A side or the B side, if the shit don't get made, it doesn't matter because nobody getting paid.
Nah,
no one getting paid. And the sport doesn't grow as a whole, which makes it worse.
And that's exactly what I was getting to earlier when I before you hopped on. That's why I'm like, if I'm Golden Boy, if I'm making all these concessions, you have to make these concessions too. Whether it be, oh no, the rematch has to be on the zone, or all right, the rematch could be on Showtime, but the weight has to now be at 140. I'm not budget. If I'm giving you something, you giving me something back.
But see, look, this is why I gotta stop you at, right? Because in the first fight, who was the A side that had everything they want in Shane versus Oscar? Oscar. In the second fight, in the rematch, who was the A side and got everything they want? Oscar.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying?
But the way I look at it is I don't like rematch clauses. So automatically when negotiations fall because of a rematch clause, I blame the person who presented the rematch clause.
But no,
No, I understand it's a business, and that's her, and Canelo did it, and Floyd did it, and everybody did it. I understand that. I just don't like it. And if you're gonna give me a mandatory rematch against you with the stipulation also that I have to be at this weight, and the first and the second fight have to be on your network, and fucking I gotta wear pink shirts, a pink shirt to the fucking press conference. You make it all these demands, and I'm agreeing to everything. You got to make some concessions too, because I'm not just a normal dude. All right, you can go and fight Frank Martin and Puello next. Cool. But you probably sell 200, 250,000 with that. You fight me, you make it 750. So the fact that, I'm coming in, it's not like I have no leverage. I'm coming in with some leverage too.
But bro, but what I'm saying is, there's 2 points that I'm making, right? Number one is he got a promoter in Oscar De La Hoya who's done what Showtime is asking him to do to other people. So it's not like this idea is foreign. Now, as a fan, as media, yes, it should be fair, and the zone should get a crack at the rematch. But when your promoter has been on record and has already done this to other fighters, that lets me know that he understands the business of boxing.
No, go ahead.
He understands the business of boxing because he's done the same thing to other fighters, just like I told with the Shane Mosley shit, right?
Okay.
And then and then my second point is, you're right. Tank will do 200,000 with Frank Martin or with Cruz or somebody like that. The fact of the matter is, Ryan Garcia next fight won't be on pay-per-view, and that's a fact.
Okay, that's fine. But you brought up Oscar De La Hoya. If I'm not mistaken, they were both HBO fighters at the time. So that's a non-point.
But he still had everything his way though.
Okay, but it's apples and oranges, because it's not like at the time Oscar was with HBO and Mosley was with Showtime, and then the fight happened on HBO. Both fights happened on HBO, and then afterwards Mosley went back to Showtime. See what you're bringing up is apples and oranges. That's not the same as what's happening now.
But what I'm saying is, if the promoter already been there before, he understand the business, bro. I'm not saying it's right. Like, so I'm not sitting here vouching saying PBC need to do this or whatever. Whatever they choose to do is on them. But your promoter has an understanding of how these things work, is what I'm saying. This is not foreign to Oscar De La Hoya, is what I'm saying. Now, yeah, the network thing is a little different, but this scenario in totality, your promoter has a history and was the golden boy, and he knows he know the business.
I don't know. Listen, there's a few solutions that could be happening to this. One could be forgetting the rematch clause. That's one. Two is either making both or the rematch a joint pay-per-view with the zone.
Yeah.
Because you got to make concessions. Or else
why the fuck are we getting why are we getting a rematch for a fucking catchweight, man?
No, I'm with you. I don't like rematch clauses at all. Like, fuck all this shit, bro. I beat you. That's why, and it's funny, it didn't end up working out for him because he ended up losing to Cambosos. That's why I was happy with Tio. Fuck Loma. Yo, you wasn't going to give a rematch to me if I beat you. So, no, I'm taking all these belts and I'm going to defend it against somebody else. I was with that. I don't like rematch clauses. Bro, if I'm the champion and I beat you and I was the better man that night, I shouldn't be obligated to face you again. Unless I want to, unless it makes business sense. But I shouldn't have be coerced in the negotiations for the first fight to fight you a second time, still under your rules when we negotiating for this fight, where the leverage you have is for this fight. Now for this rematch, if we're gonna renegotiate, which is what the same situation with Loma and Tio, if we're gonna renegotiate and try for a rematch, all right. Well, now we're gonna renegotiate with me having beaten you. You get what I'm saying?
No, I'm with you. It just depends on how bad you want to fight. I mean, again, it's not the same thing, but Devin Haney just did a similar thing. Not the same thing at all, but
no, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
So,
but
again,
you also got to look at it from Oscar's perspective. So he's gonna have his golden goose, his best fighter, go and fight for a year on Showtime, and that way his deal with the zone is at risk because the money he's bringing into the app is probably not going to be as big as it was if he would have had Ryan Garcia versus Tank on the rematch or there. You get what I'm saying? I just think again, if I'm Golden Boy, I'm not giving up. If I do end up giving up the rights, you're gonna have to give up the rights on the weight. You're gonna have to. Oh, nah, the fight's at 140 now. You're gonna keep all the rights for the rematch and the first fight, but now the fight's at 140. Or no, you want to keep it at 136? All right. Well, the rematch is now on the zone. That's it. And those are my stipulations. Whether you like it or not, the door's right fucking there. That's the way I would go about it.
And bro, I don't think the fight gonna happen. Why? Because you got Virgil that's supposed to be fighting a tough ass fight in Stanionis April 29th. If you sign this deal with Ryan Garcia, so really they only had 3 guys. It was only Virgil, Zerto, and it was Ryan. Zerto already took an L. He's about to fight Gabe Rosado, right? You got Virgil.
They got Munguia too.
Okay, but they not matching Munguia with nobody.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So okay, let's add Munguia in. So now you have 4, now you're down to 3, right? So now one of the guys is going against Stanionis in a tough fucking fight, not even for the full championship. Now you got your other main star, right? Who's looming in a Tank fight over here, who could possibly take a loss. And by the way, y'all not even the biggest promoter on the zone. So if y'all lose Ryan and then Virgil lose, you could fucking kiss the zone goodbye.
No, but that's my point. You want me to gamble once I hit that fucking jackpot? You want this motherfucker to stay on that side again when I can't present to the zone what I could do? Well, even if the fight doesn't happen, which I that's actually what I'm predicting. I'm predicting the fight doesn't happen. But if the fight doesn't happen, he brings Ryan back to the zone. I don't know who he could fight. There's rumors that he would fight Regis. Whether we believe that or not, I'll leave that up to you guys. Let's just say he does fight Regis for argument's sake, and he beats him. All right, well, that's a fight that was on the zone. That was a championship fight, an important fight with one huge name in Ryan and one good name in Regis. And all right, and then now I'm proven to the zone. Hey, look what I'm driving. I brought you a championship fight. The big fight didn't happen, but I brought you another championship fight, and he won.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's why I feel like, yo, let's make this shit happen. The quicker we get this signed, the better. But I don't think it happens. I feel like that's too big of a sticking point. I
just think that it don't make business sense again, if you somebody at Golden Boy, yeah, that's a big fight, but do it make sense when you just lost one of your stars in Zerto? You got another guy in Virgil Ortiz that's in a real 50-50 fight. Then you got Ryan that's some people say it's a 50-50 fight. I don't think so, but you got Ryan in a very tough fight. So you could possibly go from having 4 undefeated studs, and then only one be undefeated afterwards. In a year's time, bro. Seriously. That shit is bad for bit. Remember, they just got that deal with fucking DAZN. And again, they are Matchroom's little brother. They're not even the biggest promoter on the app. I mean, the biggest, yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. But part of it is they're not getting the dates. I think their budget is real low because they got the fighters. They got good fighters. Like you just mentioned, those 4 guys, those are good fighters. You know my opinion on Munguia, but point is he's not a fucking bum. I'm not high on him, but he's definitely not a bum. So I understand your point of view. I just think I don't think he's being unreasonable in asking for this. I think he's bringing into a big enough asset to the negotiations, and he's succumbed to so many things already. Where okay. This one thing should be fixable. This one thing should be able for him to get it on his side.
I mean, plus with the zone and Golden Boy's budget, Golden Boy is doing the best they can with their limited budget. It's kind of hard to reel in, the big names like a Charlo for a Munguia or whoever for Ryan or Zerto or Virgil when they just don't have the money to pay those kind of guys. So, when you have the opportunity for a Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Davis fight, one of, if not the biggest fight in boxing, you kind of do want that. And plus, again, Ryan Garcia being their poster boy, their moneymaker, you can't just have him disappear for a year.
Yeah, no, I feel you. Yo, but guys, I'm about to end the stream. Yo, Vivi, shout out to you, man. You were with me from the beginning to the end. So I just want to say thank you so much, Vivi. I appreciate you. You know, you always welcome here. Juan De Lo Mio, thank you so much for hopping on. And A-Side, shout out to you, man. Everybody go subscribe to his page. A-Side Boxing Talk. Type that in on YouTube and go subscribe to his page. That's my man. Also, hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. Either you guys want to say something before we go. I'll start with you, A-Side. You want to promote anything? Talk about anything?
Nah, man. I just want to tell everybody, man. Appreciate you for shouting me out, bro. Man, I just did an interview with Diego Pacheco. I got a couple good interviews that we just dropped a couple weeks ago, man. We working, man. We trying to line some stuff up, man. And then, we just trying to push the sport forward.
Yeah, man. Definitely go check out his channel. He has a lot of good interviews. He interviewed Erickson Lubin, David Benavidez, Rayo, Diego Pacheco. Who?
Gary Antoine.
Gary Antoine Russell. And Gary Antoine Russell breaks down his fight with him and Meek Mill. Like that, yo, there's some good stuff over there. I'm not just gassing it. I'm not just gassing it. He got some really, really good interviews. So definitely go to his channel, A-Side Boxing Talk. Go subscribe to that. And for sure, definitely go show him some love. VV, what's going on, brother? You want to promote anything? You want to say anything before I let it go?
No, I don't got nothing to promote or say. But make sure y'all, like and subscribe Broadway Joe channel. Like and subscribe to A-Side Boxing Talk, two of the best YouTube boxing channels. Just make sure to support them.
Yeah, man. All right, guys. That's my video for today. I'm trying to get on Rohan Polanco this Saturday for a Spanish Sábado. We haven't locked it in, but I'm trying to get him on. Also, I finally have been getting in contact with Subrio Matias. It's looking like I may get him on the show sometime this next week. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm working on things behind the scenes, so definitely stay tuned. But all right, guys, hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. Until next time, guys. Peace.